all students. Welcome to our Learn Primary Science series. I'm teacher Hui Hiang over here. So today I'll be covering two questions on two different topics. The first one is actually MCQ on circulatory system, which is our P5 topic over here. The second one, I'll be doing a structured question. The topic will be on photosynthesis. Okay, so let's go. All right, so for our BlueTree students over here, you will be very familiar with our what technique to tackle our MCQ question. So I hope you still remember our HOAT over here. If not, you can actually make use of this slide to refresh your memory. The first H is about highlighting the keywords in the question so that you know that what will be the topic or the concept to be tested. And then very importantly, the second over here, underline the question term so that you can focus, you can be very focused on what is actually being asked by the question. All right. And then the third one, annotate and analyze. Now, I will say this step is very important, especially when you have those like graph related question over here, because when you annotate and analyze while reading the question, it helps you to like frame out your thinking process better. And then you tend not to make careless mistake as you go along. And then the last one over here, tick and process, which is our elimination method over here. So you tick the answer and then you cross out those that is not relevant. So that when you look back at the question to ask for statements which are correct or which are wrong, you will be able to choose the option better. Okay. So with this, let's take a look at our first question over here. All right, so this is our MCQ question on the topic circulatory system. So let's take a look at the question. The diagram over here shows the direction of blood flow in a body. All right, and then I have A, B, C, and D. Okay, so let's choose a pen to annotate accordingly. Which graph shows the correct comparison of the amount of carbon dioxide? So this will be one of the key things that I will highlight or underline over here so that I know that the question is actually focusing on the amount of carbon dioxide, because they can also ask oxygen as well. All right, so the options are given over here. Before we look at the option, all right, so whenever it comes to circulatory system and whenever I see this kind of graph, this kind of diagram, the first thing is I will start to annotate. All right, so that I will be very clear about the amount of the gas mentioned over here in the question, which is carbon dioxide. So from lungs to heart over here, in terms of carbon dioxide, the amount is actually the lowest. Okay, CO2. Then after that, from heart to the rest of the body, the heart will be focusing on, pumping oxygen-rich blood. So in terms of the amount of carbon dioxide, it's still generally on the low side. All right, so will be low amount of carbon dioxide if I'm going to compare to blood vessel A. So from the rest of the body, because the body is undergoing this process called respiration, all right, where energy is released and then they will tend to produce carbon dioxide during this process as well. So for the blood vessel that transport blood from other parts of the body back to the heart, the amount of carbon dioxide will definitely increase significantly. So I will indicate as high amount of carbon dioxide in blood vessel D over here. And then the last part for C over here, because the heart is also an organ that will respire as well. So during this process, the heart will also contribute some of the carbon dioxide along the way. So I will say for blood vessel C over here, the amount of carbon dioxide from the heart to the lungs will be the highest amount. All right. So with this understanding over here, all right, and then I think I can, usually this is what I would like to do. I will rank the amount of carbon dioxide from the highest to the lowest amount, so that it will help me when I look at the graph later on in my option over here. So from the highest to the lowest amount, in terms of the highest, I will have C, followed by D, followed by B, and the lowest amount will be A. All right. So once I have ranked the amount of carbon dioxide in the 4 blood vessels over here, all right, I will take a look at my option over here. Any option that will not fulfill my ranking process over here is not the answer. All right. So if you take a look, all right, C, D, B, A. C will be the highest amount, and then A will be the lowest amount of carbon dioxide over here. So if you bring your analysis over to the option over here, there's only one answer that fulfills the answer, all right, which is actually by C, in terms of the amount of carbon dioxide, is actually higher than A, which is what we have ranked over here. All right, so I hope for when you come to this kind of question, you'll be more familiar how to answer the question. All right, okay, so let's remove this question. All right, and then let's go to the next question over here. All right, for structure question, so for BlueTree over here, we also have our answering technique, which is our ABC technique, which is some of you are familiar with, or some of you might be more used to CER, which is actually the method taught in your school. So over here, CER and ABC are actually very similar. So for A is actually for those questions that require you to make a choice. You need to answer the question first by stating your choice. Then after that, you back it up with evidence, either from the question itself, if it's an experiment-based question, or if not, from the concept that you learn to support your choice. And then the last part, C over here, which is actually very important, you must be able to link the concept over here back to the question. All right, okay? So that you will answer the question in full. So I will always tell my students, using the ABC method over here is actually help you to frame your answer, and then you will be able to pen down and organize your answer better, so that you will not end up with partial marks being lost here and there. All right, so I have prepared a photosynthesis question for you. Let's see whether we can apply ABC to any of the questions here. All right, so this is the question on photosynthesis. All right, let's take a look. Rex wanted to find out, the moment I see this 3 magic word over here, I know that this part is talking about the A. All right. Rex wanted to find out whether the amount of light affects the rate of photosynthesis. He set up an experiment as shown in the diagram over here, and then there will be some gas collected in the inverted test tube and funnel over here. All right, there's water plant, there's actually a light source providing light for the water plant to photosynthesize. All right, so that is his result over here. Okay, now, so by now you will know the gas collected is actually it's actually the oxygen over here. All right, so let's take a look. He repeated the experiment by moving the light source further away. So what is the thinking process over here? Light is very important in the process of photosynthesis. So when you move your light source away, how is the rate of photosynthesis going to be affected? All right, so let's see the questions that follow. Which graph, F or H, likely to show this result and explain your answer? All right, so whenever we see this type of question, the first thing to come to your mind is there any answering technique I can apply? So for this question, all right, it requires me to make a choice. It requires me to explain my answer. So I will use the technique ABC for this question over here. All right, so as the light source is being moved further away from the water plant over here, the rate of photosynthesis is likely to drop. All right, when the rate of photosynthesis decreases, what will happen to the amount of gas or the oxygen over here to be produced? It is definitely going to drop as well. So looking at these 2 graphs over here, which one shows that the amount of gas collected is actually less? Yeah, it's actually shown by graph H over here. So let's see how we can actually structure our answer to answer this question better. All right, so the first A, answer with a choice. I will choose graph H. All right, so B, back with evidence from the graph over here. Okay, so how can I pen out my answer better? So graph, what is the evidence over here? The graph page shows that the amount of gas collected is, I will use this comparative words over here because I need to compare the two graphs, less than that collected in graph F. All right, so for first part, I cited the evidence, which is the amount of gas collected is less. All right, okay. So for my C over here, what is the concept behind here? All right, which is something that we have discussed earlier on. So when the light source is further away from the setup or from the water plant, the water plant will trap less light and photosynthesizes less, producing less oxygen or less gas as shown in graph H. All right, so this will be my suggested answer for this one. All right, photosynthesize. Okay. All right, so the next part over here suggests a reason why measuring the amount of gas collected is actually more accurate. All right, so over here, then counting the number of bubbles produced. All right, so there are two ways over here. I can actually measure the amount of gas collected over here, or I can also measure the number of bubbles that's produced during the whole process. So why measuring the gas collected over here in the inverted test tube is actually more accurate. So for the past few years, this kind of accuracy related question is actually more and more popular. So I will say that as the number of bubbles produced, they do come in different sizes. So when the bubbles produced come in different sizes, it also means that the amount of gas in those bubbles are also different. So in terms of like accuracy wise, the number of bubbles, if you're going to count it, is actually not a very accurate method over here compared to you directly measure the amount of gas collected at the end of the test tube. So over here, my proposed answer will be the size and the amount of gas in each bubble may not be the same. Hence, there will be some inaccuracy over here. All right, now the last part suggests why the amount of gas collected stop increasing after a certain point, even though the amount of light keeps increasing. So the question is actually talking about this part over here, whereby the graph actually, start to be the same. All right, so it tells me the rate of photosynthesis is, all right, it's actually the same over here. So what are the factors that actually affect the rate of photosynthesis? Based on what you learned, it is actually the amount of light. And quite important also, the amount of carbon dioxide and also the number of water plant. But for this question over here, they are not going to increase the number of water plant over here. So I will say that the rate of photosynthesis is already at the maximum rate by the water plant over here. So even though no matter how much more light you are going to give the water plant over here, the rate of photosynthesis is not going to increase further because they are actually limited by this another factor called carbon dioxide. So this will be my suggested answer over here with this understanding. There is insufficient carbon dissolved, I'll add in this, dissolved carbon dioxide in the water. That's why it's actually limiting the rate of photosynthesis. All right, so we have come to the end. So hopefully these two questions will help you to revise the concept and then you gain new knowledge and new understanding technique. Thank you very much.